So yeah, Editions.dev, their big developer partner conference in Toronto, as I went to last week. Had a great time. Love going to these things, meeting people, glide handing, shaking hands, finding a corner, doing a little lightning interview with some background ambient noise. It's fun. Plus, it gets me out of my house. I need to leave occasionally.
What was the atmosphere, the buzz, comma, attendance, comma, tone, question mark?
I can't even tell you're reading. That's amazing. Well, it's always positive at those things. Everybody's like slapping high fives. All right, I think I've been to all of these Shopify annual developer events. Like previously it was Unite, now it's Editions.dev, and for sure they've got these things down to an art form or science. I mean, it's just like, they are nice, you show up, you will be treated well, you will have a great time, you will be impressed. It's just table stakes. So of, the many conferences I've gone to, yeah, I like the little boutique ones, but for the big ones, this is the best I've been to. For me, at any of these things, I like the hallway track. I just want to talk to people, and that's what this episode is about. We're going to hear from those folks. In the past, it was like, hey, here's the announcements. Here's the features. Whereas now the system is they make the feature announcements on Editions of the webpage. Like you've had some time to digest it. Then 10 days later, you're at this event, and now the people who built those features, who worked on those tools, are there on the floor in like clearly delineated booths. So like, oh, you got a question about this theme feature? There's a themes booth. And then you could just go find the person who worked on that thing you have a question about. It's like that I really appreciate about the format they do here. And then there's like workshops and panels. There was a singular theme to this event. I'll give you one guess what it was.
IE6?
No, but I mean, two letters. Two letters and you got one right. It was AI.
So what you're saying is most of this podcast is just going to be me being mad about things that like don't really work.
I saw you using AI today. You were coding with Claude today.
Well, I just asked it a question and to try and get a quick answer on something so I didn't have to bang my head against it. And it gave me a very confident answer. Oh, I was so confident in its answer.
It is supremely confident.
So
always.
It was like, here you go, man. Here's exactly what you need. That didn't work. And then I was like, it didn't work. And it was like, oh, you're so right.
Oh,
that
I'm so sorry.
I'm
my
so
bad.
sorry. My bad. You're right. That didn't work. Here's what you need to do. That didn't work either.
I don't know why people are scared of it. They're like practically bred for complacency. The big AI announcement here was really like something that we'll see develop over 12 to 24 months from now. And it's a suite of tools to try and make, in my interpretation of it was, to try and make Shopify the like AI e-commerce data layer to the internet. And what I mean by that was they've added developer tools, or will be adding them, announcing them, that give these AI tools direct access to the entirety of the Shopify catalog. And then the other stuff they announced was a global cart, where it's like, okay, if we have access to every online store product from every store, then how do people purchase it, and can they, mix and match? And they announced, global cart coming soon. And then, point of sale, POS, if you use that got a big update, real refresh. And we've got an episode coming up after this one where we'll go deep into that as well. The other AI thing, themes can generate their own blocks now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I tried it. I told it what I wanted. I was like, put a quote in this thing and fancy it up. It did it. First try, did what I wanted, made theme settings. It was cool. So rather than have me recap it from my memory, let's go to Ann Thomas from Design Packs, great theme developer, and she's going to break down these theme sections in this AI tool. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Ann Thomas. I'm one of the co-founders of the Design Packs app.
Well, as long as we're here, what does Design Packs do? And this is important.
So we create sections and templates that can be used on any theme.
Okay, so you are deep in themes.
Very deep, yes.
I have theme questions for you.
Oh, great.
So recently they added in Horizon theme, I can AI generate. I can just type in and it makes a block. Mm-hmm. But a block's not a section.
Correct.
All right, give me the difference between a section and a block.
Okay, so a section is the parent of a block. And so blocks also, previously they were just one level. Now you could have nested blocks.
Okay.
So they keep going down. So the section is essentially the container, and the block goes within that container.
So on my product page, the product info that's a section, and then title, price reviews, those are blocks.
Those are blocks, and you can rearrange them and move them around, and they each have their own set of settings.
All right, and the new feature that we just added was I could type in a prompt and make a block, and it works reasonably well. It's kind of cool. And then there's something underlying to the theme code that had to change to make this possible.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes, so there is now the introduction of universal blocks. So you can actually use these blocks in any section that you would like, and we're removing the block code. So the schema, it used to be in the section file, and now it's been moved into a completely separate blocks folder with its own specific liquid file for that block.
How do you feel about AI? I sense in these talking to people that there are mixed feelings. There's like, wow, it's this powerful tool. But there's also like some existential dread with it.
Yes.
Someone else compared it to Y2K, where they're like, well, they're waiting for the shoe to drop.
I don't know about you, but I remember the first time I ever wrote something in ChatGPT and it gave me back a fully coherent answer. And I feel like I had goosebumps in terms of, wow, that is something else. And I think we are gonna start outsourcing a lot of the stuff, the drudgery work that, even things like merchants do on a regular basis, updating their products, that you no longer have to do manually. Instead, you can just get AI to do it. So that part I think is exciting.
One tip, give me one tip, one thing you wish every Shopify merchant would do. It could be anything.
I wish that, I know everybody's really busy and things are constantly changing and you have different things to worry about, inventory and that kind of thing, but I really wish everyone would take the time to look at their site and honestly do their own quality assurance, get their friends to look at it on mobile. Not enough people, they just sort of set it up and then they never look at it again, and there may be really obvious ways that you can convert and that kind of thing that you're just missing. So look at your site more frequently, especially on mobile.
And Thomas, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Check out Design Packs. We're back. All right, number one, we love Anne. Let's just make that clear.
We love Anne. Anne used to work for us, and then she got too big for her britches and decided that she could just head off on her own because she was a big girl now.
You just miss her.
I do miss her. She's great.
She's uniquely suited to talk about this because her app does nothing but add theme sections to a theme. She knows what she's talking about here.
Yeah. Like your general themes have like 30 pre-built sections that the theme developer gives you, and the Design Packs app gives you another like 50. I don't even know how many she has in that you could just work with immediately. So yeah, this AI thing, instead of having a pre-built section, you tell the AI what kind of sections you want it to have, what you want it to have in it, and it just like writes the code and makes it happen, and then it injects it directly into the customized theme. It's not in the actual theme code. It's in like the content editor portion.
Well, all right, so you're saying section, it's limited to blocks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have like an AI section, and in that AI section, you then write blocks in it?
No, I believe it's any section you can add a new block. And like the example I did, it was a block inside the product form section or the product info section, whichever. Yeah. How are theme updates going to work?
It could be the same theme. We're all running Dawn. We're all running Focal. But then the AI blocks that you generated are different from the AI blocks that this other guy generated. And so when we try to run the theme update, what do? Because the base theme is now different.
Well, I think with that, the blocks are like entirely self-contained.
Yeah, there's a folder now on the back end in the code that just says blocks. It's empty on everyone's website.
The issue here, if I've got the previous theme that doesn't work that way, as far as I know, there is not a way to update or have the updater go to this new version where that theme structure changes. Like, what's the path there? And we see that a little bit with with Shopify, in that they said, hey, we've got Horizon. Well, why not add this to Dawn?
Well,
right?
A developer at Maestro, which is one of the big theme developers, we like them a lot.
And who won a community, a Shopify award for their newest theme. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, so one of their main developers flamed Shopify pretty hard because they were just like,
on the Shopify subreddit, right?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Shopify took the easy way out in that they built an entirely new theme from scratch in order to support this. But everyone else who has a library of themes that they're supporting across thousands and millions of merchants, they've given us nothing. And we have no idea how it will work. and we have no idea if there's any way to update it or how that would even happen. And they're just like, but yeah, look at this great thing we made. So he pretty much was like, so no, we will not be updating our themes to support this until they actually give us something to work with.
Yeah, it was, hey, yeah, we're not updating until we get guidance from Shopify and how this is supposed to work. If you want to play with this new tool, just upgrade to a theme that has it, that already supports it. Currently, I think that's the option.
In which case is 1, and it's like
Horizon?
It's like a beta? Like it's not even like really released yet?
It's new. I can just grab it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, the way I tested it, I made a dev store, installed Horizon, the theme, and then was able to do it. So the big exciting thing from earlier was that catalog, Shopify catalog, and Ezra Firestone, bullish on it, right? But when I asked him his pick for like, what's the thing people are sleeping on? It wasn't even one of these announcements. He had his own favorite. So I love Ezra. Had him on the show before. He's got Smart Marketer. He's got a couple Shopify brands. Let's go to Ezra. Ezra Firestone, Smart Marketer, Zipify apps. He has been to many of these events. One announcement, one feature. Like, just give me a single exciting thing you've discovered this morning.
What I love is that Shopify is really embracing AI. And everyone's talking about AI, but some of the interesting things that they're doing, like what they just talked about, which is catalog, which is the ability, everyone thinks of the Shopify catalog like it's the catalog of my products. Think about it as a catalog of every single item on all Shopify stores.
The entire platform.
And being able to, for them to open their data, for us as developers to be able to query that data and build experiences for merchants, build experiences for consumers, where we're aggregating all data from all stores is a pretty exciting use case that is going to be really awesome in a bunch of ways going forward. It's not out yet, but the fact that they are thinking, how can we leverage all of Shopify and put that in developers' hands to make better experiences for merchants and consumers? You were going to ask me, what's the most underrated Shopify app? I'm outing this, right?
Yes, it was the next question.
I think the most underrated Shopify feature is the Shop app. Nobody is really embracing it. Nobody's on it, but it's like...
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
100 million people, 100 million have it installed on their phones. It's giving currently tracking updates. People are using it for tracking updates mainly at the moment, but Shopify's incentivizing consumers to use it through the cashback. I use their cashback. We, with One Click Upsell, are the only upsells on the Shop app right now.
OCU.
There's so much, OCU, baby, let's go. There's so much available for there for merchants to optimize, and if you build your Shop app out, and you sign up for the incentives in there, and you install all the apps that are available, Shopify's dumping so much money into getting users to adopt that app. They want to compete with Amazon. They want an aggregate place where a consumer can shop all Shopify stores at once, all products in one order. Get on it now.
Now tell me, you mentioned OCU. I want to know what you're working on, what you're excited about.
Okay, so OCU, we got a lot of cool stuff going, but what I'm excited about is I'm developing a couple new apps that enable AI. I've got a really sweet, and I think a lot of people are attempting this, but a really sweet app that supports you with customer support, but not the way that you think. The way that people think about customer support is, I'm going to build an AI that the consumer interacts with. I'm not building a customer support app that the consumer interacts with, and I'll just leave it there.
I like where you're going.
Yeah.
You got us talking trends. What's one trend you're noticing with merchants?
The trend I'm noticing with merchants the most is they're freaked out, man. They're terrified because in our country, we have a lot of economic uncertainty.
Yep.
For a number of factors. Geopolitical factors, macroeconomic factor. And there's a lot of pressure on merchants. Margins are being shrunk, prices are going up, lead times are long, and the bread and butter of what brought us to the dance, which was paid digital advertising and organic search engine optimization, however you did it, whether it was through influencers or through organic search, those are harder. Everything's a little harder. And then you have this technology of hey, by the way, not only is everything a little bit more difficult and uncertain, but the technology layer that you're using to build on is fundamentally changing. So what I feel from merchants is doubt, uncertainty, fear, and just apprehension to almost paralysis by, not analysis, but just by bombardment of
the noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
how do I prioritize? What do I do?
You take the next best step you can take. You do the next thing that you can do in the direction of your goal. And it's going to be the basics. It's going to be optimizing your advertising. It's going to be making better products. It's going to be telling better stories. And it's going to be figuring out what is the best technology for you, because there's so many technology solutions now.
All right, last question. Plug something. Where can we learn more about Ezra Firestone?
Smartmarketer.com, Zipify.com.
Instagram.com, the whole thing. Ezra,
Always
thank
a pleasure.
you so much.
Yeah.
See, I feel like that's always the way. Everyone's obsessed with the new hotness. You know we have all of our the clients we've spoken to. They're always like, I want to have the coolest new store. It's got to be just the most incredible design no one's ever
Who
seen
doesn't
before.
want the latest and greatest?
Yeah, and it's just like, nah, I don't want that. So the Switch 2 launches tomorrow. If you're listening to this, it's already out. If you know about video game consoles, the Nintendo consoles are never the most powerful console.
No.
Like, they're never trying to win you over with their megahertz and their gigahertz and their RAMs, you know.
And their flops.
And their blast processing. Executive at Nintendo named Gunpei Yoki. And Gunpei Yoki made the original Game Boy and was a part of a bunch of projects. And his idea was what he called withered technology. And it's technology that is well understood, stable, can be gotten a little cheaper and easier, but everyone knows how it works and everyone is comfortable with it. And that's what Nintendo has adopted. They're never trying to always be on the cutting edge. They're always trying to say, what's technology we already know how to use or has been in use for a long time? And now we're so comfortable with that, we could do the best version of that. And that is like my philosophy too, is that it's like, all right, the latest and greatest is never going to be as good as the thing everybody knows and understands done perfectly.
You don't want to chase the bleeding edge. You don't see the advantage.
Yeah, and it's like, it's lateral thinking with withered technology. It's using known technology in a kind of new, interesting way. And that's why all this AI stuff is me just going like, because I just see all the problems with it. And it's just like, okay, is this better than what we have now? And to me, it's not. So that's why I like what Ezra said about Shop Pay. What about the Shop app? Because what the Shop app is, it's an Amazon replacement. Ezra's right in that it's entirely free. It's free money.
Yeah.
It's free money. It's not a ton of free money, but one of our clients uses the Shop app. They make like 5% of their revenue.
Which I'll take it.
On the Shop app.
For the level of effort it takes to set that thing up.
Which for them is like, tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's kind of like they did nothing. All their products are in Shopify already. They, filled out all the fields in the back end. And all they did was just click a button that was like, make this also available on the Shop app. So now they're just getting a bunch of free eyeballs and making no extra effort and making free money.
I think all three of us, you, me, and Ezra, are in agreement here. Just go try using the Shop app.
Yeah.
That thing is sweet. And then, while we were there, ran into a fellow agency owner, Jamil Bouya, and I was like, teach me to say your name. That's how often I start interviews. And he goes, easy, Bouya, like Booyah. It's like, thank you for that. I will never forget your name now. So he was previously a merchant, went to running an agency with his wife. I love people like this because they've been on both sides of the table. So let's hear what Jamal's got to say about this.
Who are you and what do you do?
Jamil Bouya from Other Half Studios. So I'm partnerships and sales for Other Half. We're a custom design and full stack development agency. We build beautiful websites that convert.
So you're building, soup to nuts, you're building Shopify stores.
Correct.
For merchants, for clients, for brands.
Yes.
What's one feature, theme, something you're excited about? Because you're like, man, this is going to make my life easier or make it easier to sell.
The new AI
merchants,
content blocks, that just makes the development process way easier. We can test multiple kind of things as we're building out a theme. So we're really excited to kind of dive into that and play with it more.
And if you're building you're doing biz dev, you talk to a lot of merchants.
Yes.
Give me the temperature. What's a trend? What are we feeling right now?
Well, I think because of the tariffs, the economic uncertainty, everybody's trying to think about optimizing dollars spent. So CRO, right? People want to know about, hey, how do I take these landing page principles and apply it to the entire site, right? Because as much as design needs to be beautiful, it also needs to work.
So it sounds like you do split testing?
Do split testing, but actually our bread and butter is building custom stores from the ground up. So we'll build your own Shopify theme, custom design dev, and we take a lot of those landing page principles and we apply it across your entire site so that your PDP, homepage, everything's optimized to convert as it would in a landing page.
What are some of your favorite tools that you're working on for this?
We love Shoplift.
Shoplift?
Shoplift.
Shoplift really good. Split testing tool.
Amazing split testing tool, just makes it so much easier. Their lift assist, they got so many features and a great team behind them.
Man, what's one thing you wish every merchant would do?
I don't know, that's actually a very tough question. I know, I was a merchant myself, and I think the biggest thing that I wish I did when I was a merchant was collaborate more with other merchants. And I think sometimes as merchants we can get so with your head down
Yep.
right? And now being on the agency side, it's kind of like the emotions are not as involved. So like,
Yep.
I think sometimes as merchants, we get so gung-ho on like our path forward. And I think like learning to remove the emotion from the problems, not so much that logic can take over, but you can get like multiple perspectives before wasting potentially a lot of time and money chasing a solution that might not have been a problem necessarily. Every merchant needs to kind of find their own path on how to get there and, you know, face some form of failure
Yeah.
in order to really understand how they react when their back's against the wall. I think that's very important.
Well, where can we go to learn more about you?
Otherhalf.studio.
Otherhalf.studio. Man, .studio is a TLD now? It's not bad.
That's the site, so go check us out. And if you like what you see, shoot us a message or an email, and we're happy to chat.
Jamil Bouya, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kurt. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so I asked everybody I ran into that day, like, you know, what's the sentiment with merchants? You know, what are you seeing? And everybody, without fail, just immediately was like, fear because of the T word, tariffs, right? Everybody. It was unanimous. That's the only question I got the same answer to on everything. What do you do? The thing we've seen, especially with our retainer clients, is the way through is forward, and they just go, all right, you know, we don't know what's coming. If there's an economic downturn, inventory supply shortages, whatever, the only thing realistically we could do is keep going, you know, double down and hustle. And man, we have been busy.
Oh yeah, we've been banging the last month and a half, 2 months.
And, you know, we see this with Jamal saying, like, people are really interested in CRO and profit optimization. That's why, right? If you could do that, you have a healthier business. You can sleep easier at night. I was also lucky to talk to our colleague, dear friend, and newsletter author, fellow podcast host, Karl Meisterheim.
That's Mr. Ham to you?
That's I believe that's how that translates in German, is Mr. Ham.
No, Heim is house. It's not Ham, unfortunately.
Oh, shows my level of
He's
German.
Mr. House from
okay.
Fallout New Vegas.
Mr. House. He had thoughts on Shopify Catalog, which, you know, we've talked a lot about. Let's hear what Karl's got to say.
Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Karl Meisterheim. I do app development and technical problems for our agencies and merchants, but I also have the Liquid Weekly newsletter, which I started 3.5 years ago, just to help surface things that are happening in the Shopify developer community. And then a couple years ago, I started the Liquid Weekly podcast with a friend of mine, Taylor Page, the award-winning Taylor Page.
Your podcast co-host, Taylor Page, won the Community Build Award.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because that thing is heavy. You could bludgeon someone with that thing. And Liquid Weekly, I greatly enjoy the newsletter.
Okay.
I subscribe to many newsletters and read very few. And Liquid Weekly is the one that I consistently scroll through to be like, all right, what tidbits does Karl have for me this week?
I appreciate
Which
that.
I appreciate. At Editions, we're at the end of the day. It's wrapping up. What was one takeaway for you?
I think the thing that I enjoyed most was the new developer dashboard and the way the DX is improved for people like myself who spend most of our time developing. You know, a few years ago they came out with the CLI, which was a big change.
Command line interface.
Yep, and that had some rough edges, but they smoothed a lot of them out. But there's still a fair bit of like manual process involved when you would update a scope or handle other things in the app. You'd have to manually deploy it and push it out. But they just released some updates that automate all of that behind the scenes. So they're watching the file system, and when certain files change because you're changing the configuration or even like a locale setting, they automatically get that, push it up as a sort of a hidden version for the app, and it's all said and done.
Okay, Shopify Catalog is this interesting concept where they essentially said, we're presenting the tools for developers to access all of the products on Shopify. Not one store, everything.
Yes.
What did you take away from that?
Well, it was interesting. I was able to stumble upon an impromptu AMA about that. And the staff around it seemed to have a lot of hesitancy around, like, it's going to be okay, like, this is already technically possible anyway because your product info is public because it's on the web, so people scrape it and whatnot. But it is a level of access to your information that wasn't there before. It makes it a lot easier for other parties to interact with it. I think their take on it is that the future of commerce is moving beyond the
web.
store, beyond the web, and into these tools like Perplexity, for example, a new search engine AI kind of thing you're probably familiar with, but they're moving more into the shopping space, the commerce space. Their goal, as they stated, is they really want the best experience for the merchants, that if you use Shopify as a merchant, you have the most leverage of any platform that you could have. And so they're doing whatever it takes to make that happen. Well, the nice thing too is from the merchant's perspective, there's not much you need to do. Basically make sure that your product information is up to date and as detailed as you can make it so that when they surface that information through that API and people access it, like Perplexity or other partners that they end up giving access to, that your products are well represented and easily defined. But beyond that, there's not much you need to do at this point. Now they did say, if you're uncomfortable with it, you can opt out.
Hey, I heard you're working on a new app. What is it?
I am. So I had this really cool guy approach me. You may have heard of him, Kurt. And he was like, we should do an app
That's my
together.
name.
Yeah, that's your name. It looks a lot like you too. And I was really looking forward to that because the business side, the marketing side, the merchant side, it's not really my strength. I prefer more of the technical work. And so to be able to combine our talent together was exciting. So we're building an app that's a free gift with purchase, which is a pattern we've seen a lot in the different work we've collaborated on from the agency perspective. And by having this, it'll enable us not only to serve your clients, but hopefully get it out there to others that might be wanting that functionality.
Well, and the exciting news is right before Editions, we got the listing and the app approved for the App Store, and now we're ready to beta test it.
Now we're ready.
So we need people who are about to run a free gift with purchase promo who would like to try it. I swear to God it works, but Karl's only one man. We need guidance, and I have a lot of opinions. We need guidance on what features to add, what you need. And the best way to do that is, I think we give it to merchants for free, and we see what feedback we get. Karl, where can we go to learn more about you? Where do we get this newsletter?
Yeah, you can go to liquidweekly.com, and there you'll find the latest editions of the newsletter, the podcast, as well as a back catalog of all the articles I've shared in the newsletter. So if you're looking for information as a developer mostly, you'll be able to get a whole bunch of that there.
Yeah, I love it. Karl, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't get me wrong. I realize my main job on this podcast is to poo-poo things. But I like the idea of Shopify catalog.
Oh my God,
Because that is, all it is just structured data. It is structured data to make it better for machines to read all of the information about the products on your store. That has direct relevance to Google Shopping, to SEO, to all of these different things, to how you yourself can look at your products on your store. Or if you're like, moving your store to a new platform or changing things about your store, it's always good. I'm like super obsessed with information architecture. And that's the main thing that drives me nuts about a lot of our clients is that I'm just like, all right, just give me the tags or give me the names or the types of these products. And then we could do magic with them. And they just have no idea.
Yeah, what I appreciate about Karl was he's a developer. He's a full stack developer who's written like full SaaS applications. And so for him, it's just like a litany of what if questions when you present him with a project as big as the Shopify catalog API.
Mm-hmm.
And his first call out was like, well, how do you decide what products are and aren't in it? And he went to the panel on this. I was busy chugging coconut water, so I missed it. And like he found one of the things they did here. You're opted into this by default, assuming you have a product in the online store.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Which the logic is, well, it's on the web. An AI could search the web and find this. So let's just fix that and put it into Shopify catalog. Versus like all the other sales channels would typically be opt-in. I don't think that's necessarily bad. I think it's just something to be aware of. But then, if you have all kinds of weirdness on your product, like, there's a product configurator, Shopify's not necessarily aware of that, right?
Well, it doesn't know that. And, I just think about so many clients we've seen that have like the product titles are just like type number 347, best bag ever. Like that's the name of the product. And it's like, okay, that's not going to work for generalized search.
Well, we end up right back to like the core thing here is the structured data.
Yeah.
On the product listing, trying to standardize that in a way where if I take this product out of your store, does it still make sense? Can I still just buy it? That's, if the answer is yes, then great. That product, your store, Shopify catalog, this will all work great together. If the answer is no, then there's a product you'd want to opt out. Man, even if this catalog idea doesn't work out, doesn't take off, all the stuff that went into supporting it is going to make life better and easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially taking the Shop app and extending the Shop app outside of the app frame and into just as like a general API data layer available across the internet.
Yes. Yeah. I think 2 years from now, that's where this is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, always fun to reconnect with friends. I mean, really, that's what I'm there for. It's just getting FaceTime with my friends, seeing Ann, Ezra, and
Karl is not your friend.
no, I love Karl. Karl's co-host, Taylor Page from Shopify Developer Alliance, who won a Shopify Community Award, and that was exciting to see because Taylor's a good dude. I like him. Yeah, here's to a successful Shopify Editions in which I did not almost get the fire department called on me.
Well, a goal for next year.
Yeah, no, I'll get it right next year. And yeah, that's it. We're out.
Goodbye.